folks, welcome to an all-new episode of So Bad It's Good with Ryan Bailey. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Friday episode. We made it, folks. Oh my God, thank God we are at the end of the week. Are you guys good? I'm good. If you listened to the Salt Lake recap yesterday, first off, thank you. And secondly, I don't have COVID. I don't have COVID. I just have normal illness. So I'm still a little loopy, which probably will be beneficial in terms of the actual recap of Beverly Hills today. Okay. Are you ready? Are you ready to rock? Are you ready for some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, baby? I got to tell you, I am so hyped up, and this isn't an ad, but these Celsiuses, I've said it before, this is crack. This can't be good for you. It literally says there's only 10 calories in this. Is this just straight cocaine? It says vitamin C, riboflavin. What is riboflavin? I'm guessing that's some sort of steroid. Niacin, vitamin B6, vitamin B12, biotin, panetheric acid. Oh, great. This has acid in it. Calcium, chromium, sodium, and then Meta Plus proprietary. What is a Meta Plus proprietary blend? Gee, I literally feel like I feel like my brain is 3 sizes bigger than my head right now since I've been drinking this. Taurine, guarana extract, just straight up caffeine. Ginger extract and green tea leaf. I don't know what's in this, but I literally feel like I could fly. I literally feel like I could just run around Los Angeles right now while I'm recording this podcast. So wow. Holy shit. This can't be legal. Are they going to, eventually, is this going to become illegal? This feels like it should be illegal. This feels like I should have gotten this on some kind of weird, link from a TikTok video that was like, hey, come on over here. Do you want to buy some of this stuff? I cannot believe they actually sell this in stores. And it says no sugar and no preservatives. So that's healthy for you. And oh God, thank God there's not protein in this, or it would just be oh my God, you guys. I just got to the very bottom. Contains 200 milligrams of total caffeine per serving. And there's 30 no, there's only one serving, but my God, that's a big number, 200 milligrams. I don't even know what the normal milligrams is, but I guess it couldn't be even nearly that much. Okay, so as always, for Beverly Hills, I want to give a special shout out to Juliana Carrozza, who takes the best notes. I've been working with Juliana for years now, and she is just absolutely the best. So thank you, Juliana. And let's get into tonight's episode, season 13, episode 12. And this is called Bitter Pill to Swallow. And you know why that's funny, folks, is because they're making a Sutton dainty esophagus joke. It's hard for Sutton to swallow with her tiny baby esophagus, and that's why it's bitter pill to swallow. So hats off to whoever titled this episode. The summary that the cable company gives us is Kyle and Sutton unpack the group dynamics. Erica sets out to rebuild her career, LOL. Wouldn't that be great if they put the LOL in the description? That's me, actually. Dorit reintroduces the group to homeless, not toothless. Oh, my God, thank God we have the homeless, not toothless again. And I will say it has done so much good in Los Angeles. Now, when you drive around, you do unfortunately see homeless people. But I will tell you, since I saw the last homeless, not toothless, every homeless person I encounter, very shiny, beautiful white teeth, better teeth than I have. So Dorit is doing some good work here. And then also it says Crystal finds her voice when confronting Anne Marie. Finally, Crystal steps up to the bat and she connects. Previously on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we have Erica Jane getting offered her Las Vegas residency and Erica squealing, Erica Jane is back. I'm doing it, baby. I'm back to Vegas. And then we have a scene with Crystal and Rob where they're talking about Crystal's brother, Jeff, and talking about Jeff going to see his ex, Vivi. And Rob's like, for him to be his own man, Jeff has to break away. And then Crystal in a talking head saying, some people do call it overbearing, but I do know what's best for my brother. And then we have that scene last week, Kyle, while in Ojai, saying, for my celebration of life event, I want it to be happy and nice. I want Morgan Wade to sing a fuck song. No, she just says, I want it to be happy and nice. Being able to share stories about Lorraine just feels like the right way to honor her. And it was a beautiful event. The only thing I'm questioning about the event is the song choice of Morgan Wade, period. So then we have Anna Marie at the event, and she's going in on Sutton's esophagus. If there is a medical reason why this is going on, and Garcelle's like, I want to understand. And Anna Marie's like, I'm done. But a small esophagus is not the reason. I love that Anna Marie is trying to uncover like criminal activity in Sutton's esophagus. Like all of a sudden, this is worse than what Tom Girardi did to those victims. It's like, what is she hiding with that small esophagus? Sutton has killed people. And then Garcelle's like, Anne Marie is coming for you to Sutton. And Sutton's like, well, why? And Garcelle's like, your small esophagus. We have taglines again this week. And, it's the same taglines. The only thing I want to point out once again, like I said last week, is Anna Marie's tagline. I may put you asleep for a living, but I always keep one eye open. And I'm arguing once again for the producers to put a little period right after I may put you asleep for a living. Period. And then just cut the rest of it because this is a bore. And then Kyle's like, it's hard to outrun rumors, but luckily I'm in better shape than ever. And I'm listening to Morgan Wade while I run. We start off with upbeat, kind of like hip hop music, upbeat music. And it's like, oh yeah, I live fast, get cash. I'm getting paid top floor in the pool, sipping lemonade. And we're at Sutton's beautiful house. She's answering a FaceTime call while she's exercising on her Pilates reformer. I think her trainer is there or her son, and Avi is calling on FaceTime, and Sutton's like, hi, Ovs, you've been gone too long. I say, this was not approved. And Avi's like, at least you're exercising. Well, I'm dying is what I'm doing. And Avi's like, no wonder you're schwitzing. You have the fireplace on behind you. And we get a shot of the fireplace in Sutton's bedroom, and Sutton's like, well, that's what I do. This is my hot Pilates. Can you imagine? What if Sutton takes one of those guys she's dating from that lady that's hooking her up, the matchmaker, and she's like, well, it's like a whole seduction scene. Like she sets up a whole seduction scene with like karaoke music. Oh, a lot of fire. Yeah. Get out of that blazer. Yeah. Put your clothes down over on that chair. I say, let's lay down a lot of fire and sing karaoke naked. The music continues while moving us over to Erica's Evolution Studio. When you're living like this, you're supposed to be a ball. Erica's in a large room learning choreography with an instructor, and the instructor's like, nice, walk, step, whoa. And the two women are just prancing around in 4-inch high heels, and Erica's song plays, I'm a princess, I'm a temptress. And they finish out the moves and laugh. And you can tell Erica's like really feeling herself, and she's like, coming back. I'm doing what I'm born to do. I'm entertaining. I'm doing the Roger Rabbit and the Running Man, all the dances, the hip, cool dances. The upbeat song continues over to Dorit's house. Gonna make it to the top. Gotta hustle every stop. And Dorit's in her kitchen with her little daughter, Phoenix, age 7. And Dorit is like, I think you're the definition of sassy, little Phoenix. What's going to happen in 8 years? And then Phoenix is like, probably the sassiest teenager. I'll get a world record. And Dorit's like, seriously, And Phoenix walks over and takes Dorit's snack that she's eating out of her hand and walks away. And this is when I just thought, oh my God, people truly do love to steal from Dorit. They will find any chance to just take whatever Dorit has, even her daughter. The music keeps playing. I got no time to sleep while I'm trying to live my dream. And now we're checking at the face gym, which is kind of like, facials and where they slap your face and put on lotions and potions. And an esthetician is explaining, this is an electrical device. It's going to give you an instant lift. I'm just starting with a low, a medium, and Garcelle with goo all over her face. She's like, oh, wow, okay, oh God, can I feel high? And then the esthetician's like, sure. And she turns up and presses it to Garcelle's face. And Garcelle laughs, woo. Also, did you see Garcelle at the Emmys? That everybody knew who she was. Everybody was like like Jessica Chastain stopped Garcelle and said she was a big fan. And Io Adebri from The Bear, who won Best Supporting Actress, she took a picture with Garcelle and loves Garcelle. And that's going to be so fun Housewives are universally beloved. Now we're back over to Sutton's house, and it's a sunny afternoon. She's outside in her front yard with a basket, cutting flowers from her rose bush. And she's like, well, I'm going to need a vase. She's just doing a scene by herself. She has like a little basket. It's like, Little Red Riding Hood. I need a vase. Well, I hate to cut you flowers. You smell so good. I say, you won't be happy inside, though. And Kyle pulls up in her car and gets out. And she's like, it looks like you're working for the Easter Bunny or something. Ha, ha, ha. And Sutton's like, well, these roses are amazing, though, Kyle. Look at these roses. And she sticks it up to Kyle's nose. And Sutton's like, smell that. And Kyle takes the rose. She's like, oh, my God, it literally smells like perfume. Yeah, that's so good. And Kyle's like, wow, where'd you get those from? And Sutton's like, well, are you pretending to garden, Sutton? Well, no. I pick these roses all the time. I talk to them, It's very good for you to talk to your plants and stuff, And sometimes I'll monologue to these plants, I'll be like, well, hey, I'm Sutton Strack. I got a horse. Yeah, my horse's name is Santos. I would love to clip you and take you over to his apartment I bought him in Beverly Hills, where he does all his horsey trainings and stuff like that. You flowers would love that. Oh, speaking of flowers, have you seen the new movie Killers of the Flower Moon? I say, with Leo DiCaprio. I didn't know if any of your cousins was in that. I don't know if any of you flowers are related to the flower moon. I say. And Kyle's like, well, you have fun with that. I don't want my face in the sun. I gotta go inside. You pick the damn roses. And Kyle just walks in the front door, and Sutton's like, well, I won't get a water. Would you like a water? And Kyle's like, I'd love a water. Can I look in your refrigerator? Kyle always taking a moment to make fun of something that her cast member is saying, doing, any kind of behavior. She's just like that. Kyle pulls the refrigerator door open, and Sutton's like, well, you're not going to find much in there. And Kyle's like, it's very clean and organized. Holy shit. Mine is a mess, just like my marriage. She didn't say that. And Sutton's like, well, it's clean and organized. Yeah, there's not a lot of food. I don't have any children, And Kyle's like, I actually could use one of these. Can I put these on right now? And Kyle has dug around and found like eye patches. Like also like, first off, if I was Sutton, I would never let Kyle go into my refrigerator after any of the shit that Kyle has pulled. Kyle is just looking for ammunition. Kyle was a part of the Sutton drinks too much conversation. She encouraged Anna Marie about the esophagus issue. And so there is no way, like, just having Kyle over, I would just let her stay outside with the flowers. And I'd be like, well, if you want a little beverage, if you want a sweet tea or something, I'm going to go in and get it. I can bring it out to you, Kyle, but I don't trust you in my abode. In my ABODE abode, I don't do it. But also, who then goes into somebody's refrigerator and like, if you're looking for a drink or something, fine. But if you're like looking like at my face creams and you're asking, can I use your eye patches? Isn't that taking the friendship too far? Like, no, you can't have these are eye patches. These are like you can't go to like Ralph's grocery store and buy these. No, you can't have them. Kyle in a talking head goes, Sutton's not eating that much, and it's making a lot more sense now that I see what's in her refrigerator. But under her eyes look good. And Sutton in a talking head's like, well, shut the fuck up, Kyle. No, Sutton's like, if I'd known that Kyle was going to go through my refrigerator, I would have put more food in there just to prove that I eat a lot. Now, that's kind of an LOL, and it's like, Sutton, why would you even say that? Just say, I don't want Kyle going through my refrigerator. What would say? Avi, I'm gonna need you to go just get a bunch of junk food that we can throw in the refrigerator. Kyle's coming over and she always likes to snoop. Kyle's applying the eye patches and Sutton's like, well, so how'd you feel at the end of the night, your celebration of life dinner? And Kyle's like, it was just great. Everybody just looked great last night too. And we get a flashback to the previous night with Kyle taking pictures with her daughter at the step and repeat. And, she has 4 daughters. They're all beautiful. They're all taking pictures together. And Sutton's like, well, yeah, it was a really nice event. Where was Mo? Where was your husband, Mo? And Kyle's like, he's in Mexico City. He was in Aspen and then Mexico City. And Sutton's like, well, doing his stuff. I'll say. Kyle's like, yeah. And then Sutton and I talking heads up, well, I'm not accepting the excuse that Mo is giving. Unless you are in the hospital or dead in a ditch, I say, you show up for your wife and your wife's dead best friend's family. She really hits the word dead. She's like, your wife's dead best friend's family. And Sutton has a great point. And Sutton in this moment, you're like, oh, maybe she's being underhanded or something. But at the end of the day, she's standing up for Kyle. She's standing up like, you better be there for your wife. And this is where, suspicions start getting raised. Now, Kyle says, Yeah, so he went to Aspen and then flew on his friend's plane to Mexico City. And then he gets back. He flew on his friend Jeffrey Epstein's plane to Mexico City. No, and then he gets back Friday. He'll be there at the Homeless Not Toothless event. And Son's like, wait, they're they're toothless. Like everybody's still confused about the name, like we all are. And Kyle's like, they have homes. And Son's like, they're homeless, not toothless. This scene, when they're trying to figure out homeless, not toothless, it always feels like that part in a musical where they're like, well, it's homeless. That's right. Homeless, not toothless. And then other people say, a homeless, a not toothless, a homeless, a not toothless, a homeless, not toothless. That's right, they're homeless, not toothless. You don't know what they've got, but it's not teeth. Like it feels like the beginning of a big musical number. I also want to read to you something that Kyle posted today in regards to Mauricio not being at that event. She put in her Instagram stories, I wanted to clarify this. I did many times then, but I guess I need to again. Mauricio Mo offered to cancel his trip multiple times, even though there were many people involved in this trip. I told him he did not need to do that. The date of the event was changed last minute, and none of the other men were attending. I had a lot of support around me that night. It's not fair to put that on him. So Kyle kind of leaves Mo out to dry in this scene right here, but she's saying, listen, I told him many times. Now, sometimes you got to not listen to your significant other and just bite the bullet and be there anyways, and especially because he was friends with Lorene as well. So it's very complicated, which real relationships are that complicated. But I mean, is there a part, go with me on this, this isn't meant to be conspiratorial, is there a part also that Kyle was like, I don't want you there because my special friend Morgan Wade is there? And I don't mean in terms of like a, sexual, but like I have more fun with Morgan when you're not there. Is there an element of that as well when you actually start to get to a point where your relationship is so fractured that you're like, I'd rather you not there because I'm actually better off? And that's the sad part, is I feel like Kyle is in that place a little bit of, you know what? I actually feel a little bit like more of myself away from you. And that was the thing that kept going through my mind. Anyways, we had a flashback to 2022 with the homeless, not toothless conversation in that season. And Kathy Hilton's like, the Toothless and Homeless Foundation? And Dorit's like, not toothless and homeless. This is a really important charity, Kathy. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Homeless, not toothless. And Kyle yells, forgetting about the Toothless, Not Homeless charity. And Crystal's like, no, it's the homeless, not toothless. Everybody is still super confused. And the thing is, does this work for or against the charity? Because we all do kind of remember this now. And it's a big punchline, but at the same time, it's still, and in the day and age of 2024, that's it, right? Like as long as you're getting talked about, even if it's bad or good, you're still getting talked about it. I think that's so messed up, but it seems like it probably has put this charity a little bit more on the map, even if it is in a joking way, because at the end of the day, they do charity work that is, the heart's in the right place. So maybe at the end of the day, it's good that it's such a fucked up name. I don't know. Anyways, in this scene, Son's like, well, you want them to be, what do you want the homeless people to be? And Kyle's like, I want them to have a home and teeth. And this is very upsetting that I have to choose one of those two. Also, I was thinking about the teeth lately, because did you read this bullshit story? I don't usually like to do stories about Kanye West anymore, but he, this guy needs some attention because I think he's trying to release an album in February. He removed he had a very good surgeon remove all of his teeth, and it's not he had a diamond grill on the bottom set of his teeth, but now he has a titanium dentures, and like it's the strongest material that you can possibly make these things out of. And guess how much they cost? $850,000. And they look horrible. I'm sure some of you art freaks out there are going to be like, oh my God, it's beautiful. It's like, he's a piece of art. But like, I'm sorry. Also, $850,000, that would make all the homeless people have teeth. Like $850,000. Are you out of your mind? I mean, well, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to say that really. It made me livid in a whole nother way. I'm like, oh, come on, man. Come on. Now you're putting just go back to making your new wife wear pillows and just things that barely cover her nips. Like, are you kidding me? Sutton, Sutton is like, well, what's wrong with us, Kyle? We're making jokes like this. And Kyle's like, I don't know. Well, why can't we remember the real name of this charity? You know, I was kind of having an emotional day yesterday. I say, thinking about all this and preparing that I wanted to be strong for you. And Garcelle comes up and she goes, and they flash back to the night before. And Garcelle's like, girl. And Sutton's like, what now? And Garcelle's like, Anna Marie is coming for you. And Sutton's like, coming for me? Coming for little old Miss Sutton, what I do? And me, I'm like, well, we had a great day on Saturday. I really like her. Why is she coming for me, Kyle? For what? And Kyle's like, yeah, well, you let her lick your armpit. Kyle also is so sometimes deceptive as a friend because Kyle damn well knows that she's had two-person scenes where she's bagging on Sutton in a sense. They flash back to 2 days earlier in Ojai with Anna Marie going down and licking under Sutton's armpit and Garcelle going, that's disgusting. And Dorit's like, oh my God. What do you think Sutton's armpit tastes like? What do you think? Just like, oh, my armpit tastes like high fashion. You know, just tastes like ready to wear with a little hint of orange, lavender. Oh. Anyways, Kyle in this scene goes, I thought you guys were like a thing. And Sutton's like, well, I know, but it's about my esophageal problem. You know, shut up about my esophagus. I say. And Kyle's like, she brought it up again? Yeah, you leave my esophagus alone, okay? Kyle in the talking head's like, we have seen Sutton throw a fit and get into fights over some ridiculous things. Juliana put a note in here that said, name them. Name those ridiculous things. Name them. Well, they do. The editors go a flashback to 6 weeks earlier in Vegas where Sutton is upset about the Magic Mike show and the dick riding pants. Sutton's like, well, this has nothing to do with the pants. Nothing to do with the pants. And then in 2021, Sutton to Crystal, jealous of what? Your ugly leather pants? And then in 2020, Sutton going, all right, you've had your fun. Let the mouse go. And Dorit's like, really? Really? Honestly? Let the mouse go, Dorit. Kyle in a talking head says, maybe Sutton has met her match. Are you fucking out of your mind? I'm sorry, this is the Celsius talking, but Kyle, are you out of your fucking mind? She met her match with Anne Marie because Anne Marie brought up the word esophagus a billion times? Are you smoking dope? What are you high on your THC dinner? She's met her. This is the way we blow up these characters. Like these people probably thought Anne Marie really was doing something. Anne Marie is doing a big fat 00, not even an 8.5, as her husband says her looks and everything that she does in her life is. It's a big 0. Her average is dropping way down. Met her match. What's going on? I'm going to have a heart attack. Kyle's like, well, you guys will figure it out, you know? Thanks, Kyle. Sutton brings out her phone and pulls up a site for Villa Catalina Sitges. And Sutton's like, well, anyway, enough about my esophagus. I want to show you the house, and it's beautiful. My friend Trevor, who's in Barcelona, I told you all about it. And they flash back to the night at the Celebration of Life event. And Sutton's like, well, do you all want to come to Barcelona? You all come to Barcelona? You know, not Ibiza, but Barcelona? And the ladies are like, woo, yeah. And Dorit's like, Barcelona! Sutton and I talking heads like, well, it's been a really tumultuous 2 months, so let's take this trip as a time to come together and have fun. And remember that we love each other. Remember, why don't you even just think of it this might be the first time you've ever loved one another. Are you kidding me? Kyle's like, what part of Barcelona? Like where? Can Morgan come? No, Son's like, well, so this one is in this place. I don't know how to pronounce it. Sitges? Okay, yeah, it's like right outside Barcelona, but I don't even want to invite that nurse doctor. You know what I'm saying? That Anne Marie. And Kyle's like, you already invited her. And Son's like, well, she owes me an apology. And Kyle's like, you invited everybody in Anna Marie last night. You can't disinvite. And Sutton rolls her eyes. Well, I won't, I guess, but she owes me an apology. Kyle doesn't necessarily agree with her getting one by the look on her face. And a new scene brings us over to Crystal's, and she's in her house with her golden doodle and tells Lucy, her house manager, iconic house manager, that she's going to go outside. And Crystal makes a FaceTime call to Garcelle, and Garcelle's, at Jax's volleyball game. And Crystal's like, what did you think about last night's Kyle's event? I do like, you can really, the housewife tropes and how they put these shows together. So you have the event, and then the next episode is always a string of scenes of people in a scene with another housewife, 2-person scenes where they're going, how did you think that event went? It's like clockwork. And Garcelle's like, well, I thought it was really beautiful. And Crystal's like, yeah, I was very moved by it. I texted her today and I said, your friend would be so grateful. Like, that was a very beautiful event. And Garcelle says it was celebratory, but not somber. Yet it wasn't a party where you forget why we're there. And Crystal's like, yeah. I was going to say someone who might have forgot what the event was about was Anna Marie. And Garcelle rolls her eyes and is like, wow, she's very committed. And Crystal's like, she was implying an eating disorder. And now we flash back again to the night before, and Anna Marie's like, small esophagus is not the reason. Did you have an eating disorder? And Crystal immediately looks triggered, and Anna Marie's like, a lot of acid reflux or regurgitation can cause scar tissue in your throat. And Crystal's like, you're implying that she has an eating disorder. And Anna Marie's like, I am not. Crystal goes, and I'm like, what's your purpose? Like, what's your end game with this? Are you to shame her? Garcelle in a talking head says, I know Anna Marie is in the medical field, but I think sometimes you got to lay off a little bit. First of all, Sutton's not your patient. Second of all, you just met her. Leave her alone and her esophagus. Huh, now I'm in esophagus police, which would be a great new Bravo show. Like, coming this fall to Bravo, right after Below Deck, esophagus police. Anna Marie Wiley in her toughest role yet, where she goes and accuses people of esophagus disorders and potential EDs. Crystal's like, well, when I met her around Christmas, she told me she was a doctor. They're talking about Anna Marie. They show us a photo of Anna Marie and Crystal and 2 other ladies at a party. And Garcelle's like, wait, and not a nurse? And Crystal smiles. Yeah. Girl. And Crystal's like, I'm just like, the truth. Crystal in a talking head says, I met Anna Marie at a holiday party many months ago. She said she's an anesthesiologist. And it's funny to hear that now she's in the group that she is not one and a nurse anesthetist, which is very different. I just couldn't help but think, what else are you lying about? And Crystal in this scene goes, by the way, I Googled narrow esophagus on Pornhub, and guess what I found? She just says, I Googled narrow esophagus. And Garcelle goes, and Crystal goes, it's very much a thing, and it's not like it has never happened before. And Garcelle goes, girl. Garcelle goes, even in the medical field, you can't say that this was 100% the way it is all the time. And Crystal's like, no. And actually, when you type it in, one of the next words is genetic. So there's a genetic issue to it. And she was saying that her family has it. That's enough for me. If there's one possible answer, that means there's one possibility that Sutton's telling the truth. Then that's enough for me. Crystal in a talking head says, Anna Marie spent 4 hours researching Sutton's esophageal issue and couldn't find anything. And in 5 minutes, I was able to Google it. She goes, maybe I'm a doctor. And then kind of gives a pause and then it's like a big smile. And I was like, Crystal really is starting to find her footing in the esophageal issue. I like this. Crystal says to Garcelle, her intensity of wanting to out her, it's weird. Let it rest. Or, as I say in Sutton's word, let the mouse go, Anna Marie. Let it go. Next scene brings Dorit and PK arriving to the Beverly Hilton. And Dorit to the valet is, hi, Jamie, how are you? And they go inside the lobby, and Dorit's like, look at this handsome devil. And they meet Nick, the event planner. He's been in other episodes before, greets him with a hug. How are you? What's going on? And PK's like, kind of iconic, this hotel, honey. It's not as iconic as the hotel I did for the Pretty Woman thing for our anniversary, but it's still an iconic hotel, the Beverly Hilton. And Nick is like, yeah, it's a super iconic hotel. And Dorit's like, I'm really excited. Beep, boop, 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 boop. Last year, there was a COVID surge. We had to basically say we had to postpone the gala. She said it's gala, but she goes, the gala, until this following year. So I just had a dinner at home with the girls. We get a flashback to the Homeless Not Toothless gala at Dorit's in 2022, where Dorit is like, I just wanted to introduce you to a charity that I've been working with for a few years and has got a really special place in my heart. Beep, boop, 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 boop. And the camera is panning to the attending guests eating and drinking. Kathy, Sutton, Erica, Mauricio, Kyle, Diana, Rinna. Oh my God. And Dorit continues, the charity is called Homeless Not Toothless. And suddenly Kathy looks up and interrupts and goes, wait, what is it called? And Dorit's like, Homeless Not Toothless. And Kyle is trying to hold back laughing, and Sutton is forcing her lips not to move. And Kathy answers and goes, "That's great. That's great." It was so, just to remind you of how amazing that episode was. So many different things happened. Remember, Rinna flipped out on Sutton again, and then she was like, she got angry, and then she blamed it on obviously the death of her mom, which, like, listen, you're very emotional, but Rinna was just having a horrible season. But then the other big thing at that was Kyle literally flooding the backyard once Melissa Etheridge came on. It was like, the first few notes on the guitar strum, and Kyle was like, "No, it isn't. No, are you? Oh my God, no, Melissa." And Melissa Etheridge, you can tell she's even freaked out. She's like, "How am I in a backyard in Encino singing 'Come to My Window'?" And Kyle was just like, foreshadowing. And Kyle was just freaking out. It was such a good episode. So Dorit now in this scene in 2024, she's like, "I'm hoping that there's more attention on the performance and less of the name. Once they pass that line and they come into security, I'm just wondering if, like, anyone can slip through." And Nick's like, "Well, the 3 doors here are going to be super secure." Okay. I mean, Dorit, this was such an interesting question of, like, was she scared of, like, another mugging? Like, are people going to try to break into the Toothless Not Homeless event? And PK's like, one of the things that worries me about you is you're taking too many thoughts on, Dorit. You got to trust your people. You got me. You got Nick. Just relax, okay? And shout out to PK for not doing this whole scene while eating a pizza. And Dorit's like, "Okay." Dorit in the talking head goes, "I really think the therapy session with Dr. Sarah that PK and I had was really beneficial." We get a flashback to 3. By the way, this is what frustrates me with Beverly Hills and a lot of the Housewives shows. Once we get towards the end of the season, I would say a good 10 minutes are flashbacks. Like, guys, I know, I remember the therapy. I remember it like it's my own therapy session. We get a flashback to 3 days earlier where Dr. Sarah's like, what do you want PK to do in the future? And he's like, "If I tell him, PK, I'm not good. I'm really not good right now. I need him to understand, like, aha, she's having an episode. I need to go comfort my wife." And PK's like, "It makes me emotional, Bob, because I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it." And Dorit's like, "Baba, baby, why?" Because PK is starting to tear up because us men, we are wussies. Like, we all act tough and all that stuff, but we are so, like, we'll fucking cry. Like, women are so much stronger than men. Like, it's fucking wild. PK's like, "Because it's very difficult when you love someone to listen to how much pain you're in. It's hard. Ladies and gentlemen, Berlin, take my breath away." No, PK in this scene says to Nick, "Yeah, if you have the meet and greet sealed off there, you can let people in." So it's a meeting of the minds for the Homeless Not Toothless event. And Dorit in the talking head goes, "PK is so much more present. He's listening more. I feel more connected to him. And I feel very grateful for that." PK in this scene is like, "How many people are going to be here, honey?" And Dorit's like, "We've got 400 people we're expecting." And Nick's like, "All our closest friends." And Dorit's like, "Exactly. Plus Paula Abdul, William H. Macy. The stars are out." What a cornucopia of stars. You got Paula Abdul, and then I swear to God, no betting man would think the next name that comes out of anybody's mouth would be William H. Macy, the actor. Like, you're like, okay, yeah, Paula Abdul. I know they're all friends. Wait, William H. What the fuck? Like, William H. Macy. PK's like, "And we're working on a surprise for the event. We're working on a surprise, okay? Which we haven't quite pulled off yet. We're working on it." A man walks in and introduces himself. "Welcome to the Beverly Hilton. Gino Vasante, director of catering. Nice to meet you." And Dorit's like, "Thank you." And PK's like, "Are we doing a food tasting today?" And Dorit's like, "Not a food tasting." And PK's like, "Oh, that's a shame. Oh, I like my crisps and my pizza." And Gino's like, "Well, this is pretty much what the table's going to look like." And they show us a round of 8 set with a cream tablecloth, cream tablecloth, black napkins, utensils, bread plates, a multicolor rose floral centerpiece, and a mirror vase. Which, by the way, it's so funny. My mom worked at the Radisson Resort. When did she get that? When I was first starting high school in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it was this Radisson Resort right on Scottsdale Road. And she started off as a secretary and worked her way up to conference service manager. But when I was in college, one of my jobs, I would be a caterer for all the events at the Radisson. And you got paid really well for that job. But it was like setting up these kind of events, setting up the tables, the tablecloths, the flower arrangement, the silverware, and then bringing in the food, plating the food, serving the food. And man, it was wild because you would have to do all these breakfast meetings for businessmen. And so you'd have to get up at like 5 a.m. But it was a cool job, but it was interesting. Anyways, I don't even know why that doesn't even matter to you guys. So PK's like, Dorit's super more polite than me, so she wouldn't say it. But I know what she's thinking. Hey, this looks like a canteen in an office, you know? And it was a little underwhelming, right? And Dorit in a talking head goes, even though I probably would work on the delivery, I love that PK can say things I would be mortified to say. What's on his lung is on his tongue. That's what I always say. What the fuck do you always say? What's on his lung is... What's on his lung is on his tongue. What's on his dick better not click. What's on his lung? That's got to be a Dorit original. That's a t-shirt right there. That's got to... What's on his lung is on his tongue? What's on his lung is on his tongue? That makes me feel like it's like a cancer diagnosis. Like, I'm so sorry. What's on your lung turned out to be on your tongue as well. We're going to have to operate immediately. What's on his lung is on his tongue. I've been thinking of poetry today, PK. What about this one? What's on his lung is on his tongue. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. In between mouths of pizza. It's beautiful. Oh, look, it's very good. But use that in conversation with... Anyways, PK's like, what about the tablecloth being black? You know, what about that? And Gino's like, well, would you consider doing silver and black? And Nick's like, yeah. And Dorit's like, that would be wonderful. And Nick's like, I just wanted to point out the flower arrangement. Yes, I think we gotta go more white roses, ivory. And PK's like, baby, it feels daytime, these flowers. It feels daytime. And Dorit's like, it doesn't feel super nighttime, I'll tell you that. What's... When it's on the day, it better not pay, is what I always say. But when it's in the night, you know you're not gonna fight. Dorit in a talking head says, while PK being here today doesn't solve all our problems, like the gambling and the cheating, it's a good start. Dorit scans the room and goes, so, we're gonna have how many tables down in this pit? 10, 12? And in a talking head, she's like, it makes me feel hopeful that things are just gonna get better and better. Insert, they didn't. PK getting cheeky. Any chance of changing the carpet? The carpet is very 70s. Hey, does the carpet match the drapes in the Beverly Hills Hilton? Gino's like, in 3 days? Let me work on that for you, PK. And Dorit's like, oh, Lordy, have mercy. Boys being boys. And Gino's like, you gotta love him. And Dorit's like, I do love him. Sometimes. In another scene, Crystal arrives at Republique, which is, what is that? It's over on La Brea. It's a really great restaurant, actually. Really cool inside. The best bread. Really, there's always like a line out the door. But she's there getting seated. Her brother Jeff arrives moments later. And they exchange their pleasantries. And he pulls out a bracelet from his pocket with like beads on a thick string. And Crystal's like, oh my God, this is so cute. And Jeff's like, it was made by a Buddhist monk with his feet. And he's like just joking. But for a second, I bought it. I was like, oh my God, I bet that really is something Buddhist monks do. They make these kind of bracelets with their feet. Anyways, Crystal's like, with his feet. And Jeff's like, that's your trigger word. And Crystal's like, yeah, I hate it. And tells about the other day with Sutton licking Kyle's toe. And Jeff's like, get the hell out of here. Licking toes. What are you guys doing? And then they have a flashback of this, the big moment of the season. And Crystal's like, yeah, her foot was in a shoe all day. And Jeff like, it wasn't clean? And Crystal's like, no. And Jeff's like, we won't even let those people walk in our house, let alone lick their feet. Wait, you won't be... What? Anyways, they order food. And I will say the big winner of this scene for me was that Jeff ordered a short rib breakfast burrito, which even I watched this earlier this morning. I watched it 2 times. Each time I'm like, God, that sounds good. A short rib breakfast burrito. Like, that's what I kept thinking about this entire scene because I'm a pig. And anyways, Jeff's like, well, anyways, it's nice to be back. And Crystal's like, so you saw Vivi? And Jeff's like, yeah. And I got everything off my chest. It was quite surreal. And Crystal's like, did you hug? Like, what an interesting question. Did you get to second base? And Jeff's like, yeah, we hugged. Look, I'm not angry. I'm not mad with what happened. I'm wounded by what happened. And Crystal's like, well, is she? And Jeff's like, well, she always felt like she was never actually accepted. And Crystal's like, by me and mom. And Jeff's like, correct. And she's not wrong about that. And Crystal looks down at the table. Crystal in a talking head says, Jeff has always felt that I've been intimidating, that I have a lot of strong opinions, that I have a lot of expectations. I love my brother. I was trying to be protective. I realize now that my approach was wrong. And so here we are. Throughout this whole talking head, thinking about that breakfast burrito the whole time. And by the way, you should be thinking about that breakfast burrito as well. I want a short rib breakfast burrito right now at 10:23 at night. Crystal, by the way, everything that Crystal said is that true. Like, she can come off a little intimidating. She's a very strong woman. And I think that's a positive thing. But I can't imagine also then being a sibling where, having like that, I could see potential intensity there. Crystal says, as an only child, she cannot possibly understand our relationship. And Jeff's like, yeah, we're best friends. Mom and my relationship is tight as well. And another woman coming into my life is problematic for you and mom. And Crystal's like, it'll be fine. And Jeff's like, well, my wife, girlfriend, partner will definitely have to accept that. And so will you guys. And you can tell Crystal does not like this conversation. And Jeff's like, that's just part of life. Crystal, well, by the way, Jeff, you're just realizing this now? What happened in the relationship with Vivi? Like, Crystal in a talking head says, Jeff and I has always been close to the point where people used to think that we were twins. We played sports together, ride our bikes in the cul-de-sac every day together, just the two of us. And when I met Rob, I was actually nervous that I wouldn't be a sister anymore, that I would be someone's wife and a mom, but actually that's never changed. They also show several pictures of young Crystal and Jeff growing up. It's very cute. Jeff says, but yeah, I'm planning to spend more time in Asia. I'm probably going to relocate there for half the year in Bangkok. He says, I can do music there. I can DJ there. I can do a lot of things. As much as I love being Manny Jeff here to Crystal's kids, I need to go back and get my life back in order in Asia. And Crystal's like, are you now going in the opposite direction because I pushed you too far? And Jeff goes, so this is not, I need a distance from you guys. It's not, it's me taking control of my life. So, he says it's not that I need distance. I just need to take control of my life. So it's him kind of taking his stand. Crystal in a talking head says, I've realized that I need to accept my brother and what he wants, because if I don't, it'll create more of a wedge between us and I just might lose him forever. And Crystal in the scene goes, I don't want you to go back to Asia full time. And Jeff's like, I tell mom this all the time and I'll tell you the same thing. Mom did a great job as a mom. You've done a great job as a sister, but your work is done. Like I make my own decisions now and trust that you guys did a good job. Trust my judgment. Other than that, you're a perfect sister. And Crystal's like, I am. So that's good. That's good that he stood up for himself. That's a hard thing to do. And also, you've got to let people make their own mistakes. That's where they learn the most. I was just even thinking about this while I was watching the scene in regards to my dad and my mom, and sorry that I talk so much about it, but it's on my mind so much, is that, it's important to let dad make his own mistakes right now, to let him figure that out, try to find his own way of doing things. And it's hard because I'm Hawkeyeing and my sister is, kind of really watching everything that he does or trying to. But at the same time, we have to give him freedom as well. And it's trying to find that right balance. But it's hard because you want to swoop in and almost be a helicopter parent to your parent. Okay, so now it's 3 days later and the night of the Homeless Not Toothless Gala. And Dorit is at the Beverly Hilton in a suite getting glammed for the event. PK walks in wearing a tux and Dorit's like, wow, 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 zoinks. And PK's like, it's too tight. It's too tight. And Dorit's like, no, it's definitely not too tight. I can tell all your bits and pieces. Come here, my love. Very sharp with the tie. I love it. Dorit heads out to the balcony of her suite where the sunset lighting is just perfecto for her usual photo shoot with her stylist. And this is finally good. It was good for me to see because finally Dorit is getting back to what Dorit loves to do, and that's posing before an event in fancy outfits. Like this, I was like, okay, good. This is old Dorit to me. We're getting ready over at the Minkoff household now, and Crystal is talking to Rob because he has another event for the Brave Little Toaster. A great, I love that. And then Crystal's like, well, I'm glad you're going. So why don't you just get in the car and meet me at and Rob's like, at the Homeless Not Toothless? And Crystal's like, you got it. You've been practicing. And then we're over at Garcelle's where she's getting glam. And Garcelle goes, so Homeless Not Toothless. And there's a pause. And then the three of them crack up. Like, I love that this is a very, we're dealing with the homeless, but it's now just a punchline. Sutton is now at her house being glammed. And she's like, I don't get it. But, maybe we're going to see some homeless people with some really nice teeth. I say. And her makeup artist laughs like, oh. And then we're now at the Umansky household. And you can just just feel you can just cut the tension already with a knife. Your butt puckers up. It's just so you already feel it. And Kyle's like, "Are our kids all gone? There's no kids home." And Mauricio's like, "Love being no kids right now. Portia will be home later with a couple of girlfriends, just like you, Kyle." And Kyle's like, "I know that, but it's quiet in here." And they get in the car to go on their way. And while riding in the car, Mauricio's like, "Where are we going?" And Kyle's like, "The Beverly Hilton." And you just tell Kyle is just so checked out in this whole scene. Like she just does not want to be in this car with Mauricio. And Mauricio's like, "Got it. Homeless, not toothless." Like Mauricio, on the other hand, he's kind of fun and loose. Like he's normal Mo of like, "Yeah, all right. We're going to party tonight, And Mo's like, "Yeah. So, what's going on with everybody? Like, tell me about that event, tell me about her event." And Kyle thinks for a moment. It's like, "Well, I wanted them to enjoy themselves, but also address the topic and honor Lorraine and just trying to find that balance, And Mo's like, "None of the guys wins, right? None of the guys." No. Kyle in a talking head says, "Would it have meant something to me if all of a sudden he showed up the event for Lorraine? Of course it would have. He was close to her also." And we flash back to the event with Kyle hugging Lorraine's mom, Sugar. And Sugar's like, "Was that song appropriate with Morgan Wade?" No. Sugar's like, "Thank you, honey. I love you. I love you. And this is hard. I know." And then Sugar's like, "Is Mauricio going to be there?" And Kyle's like, "He's out of town. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I love you so much." And then back in this scene, Mo's like, "Well, I've just been traveling so much." "You have been." "Well, I'm trying to get caught up." "Now I'm going to be traveling." "You're going next weekend, right?" "Uh-huh. And after that, I go to Spain." And Mauricio looks at Kyle kind of like, "You like that? You like that? You don't know my calendar anymore, bub." And Kyle in a talking head goes, "It's a little taste of his own medicine. I'll be honest, because there are many times where all of a sudden he's like, 'Oh, I'm off to Portugal.'" Kyle in the car is like, "I forgot to tell you that." Kyle back in the talking head says, "Or I'm leaving for Chicago. I don't really get a heads up. So, oops, Kyle did it again." Like it's that kind of like tit for tat part of that dissolution of the relationship. Kyle in the car is like, I'm going with the girls." And Mose is like, "Amazing. Great, love beam. Great." But they kind of just are both frowning, knowing that they were just sitting in awkwardness, sitting in that unknowing, that sitting in that not knowing, sitting, just, we've all been there, right? Just like, how do we do this? And then realizing we have cameras on us at the same time. Now bouncy music plays. "We're going to live it up. We're going to have a good time. Going to have a good time." And we see PK and Dorit are down from their suite. They're entering the event area. And Dorit's like, "Okay, I'll come back and do the red carpet. And I want to make sure we all get a picture in front of it. And definitely, honey, I definitely want a picture with you, my little handsome penguin." They enter the room, which has been transformed in silver and black with galaxy light stars. Shout out to Raquel Levis, and blue neon lights on the stage. And Nick's like, "Do you like it?" And Dorit and the talking head's like, "I'm so proud of how this night has come together. Everything looks incredible. Beep, boop, bop, beep, boop, boop, boop. Exactly the way I wanted it to look. But to be honest, I couldn't have done it without PK." Guests begin to arrive. Erica, it looks great in bright pink. Garcelle in maroon. Crystal in black with crystals. We see actor William H. Macy on the red carpet. Erica in the main room alone calls out loud, "Where is everybody? I'm in I got a Vegas residency. I didn't do nothing with those victims." And a man walks by and stops and goes, "Hey, I'm Justin." And Eric's like, "Nice to meet you. I'm Erica Jane." And Justin's like, "You look beautiful." "Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Oh, wait. Hey. What's your name?" And the man's like, "Well, I'm Dr. Justin. Justin Ronan." And Erica yells, "I'm your patient. I was just in for a cleaning." "Yes?" "I was going to come in because I lost my bleach tree." "I lost my bleach tree." "I lost my bleach trace. It's expensive to be me." "Where the fuck do you lose your bleach trace?" "Where the fuck did you lose your bleach?" "I was having a one-night stand. I left my bleach trays over at Army Hammer's house. I'm in the junk."
I think I ate my bleach trays over. I grind my teeth. I get hungry. I think I ate my bleach.
How do you lose your bleach?
Those goddamn victims. They sued me for those diamond earrings and my bleach trays. Those are mine. I earned those bleach trays.
Oh my God. So sorry. Just the dentist who was initially trying to hit on Erica now realizes it's professional. He's like, smile. And Erica grins like,
Hey, you like my smile?
and Justin's like, you look great.
Oh, you're sweet.
And Justin's like, no, you look really beautiful.
Thank you. Nice to see you. I'll see you in the office. Thanks.
And she clinks her glass with his and hightails it out of there. Like, blows him off really fast. Like, I was kind of confused. And I didn't know if that was like a setup scene of like, just like, we want to try to get the doctor's name in real quick so I can get some free bleach trays. And then Erica screams,
oh my God, I just saw my dentist. I saw him.
Now, Anna Marie, 8.5, Anna Marie arrives dressed in black. Mauricio and Kyle are being dropped off. Mauricio's helping Kyle out of the car. Like, you look great, honey. You look great, love me. And you just feel like Kyle's like, get your fucking hands off me. They enter the lobby near the red carpet, and Mo calls out to Anna Marie's husband, Marcellus, how's those teeth? Oh, how's those teeth? And Kyle quietly to Mo is like, what's in that drink? Alcohol or weed? I forgot. Like, kind of already ribbing Mauricio. Like, you're already being too loose. You're having too much fun already. And Mo holds a bottle of something. He's like, alcohol. And she's like, oh, okay. And then Mo to Marcellus is like, don't fall over, man. All right. Like, Mo is that guy that just wants to have fun with everybody. He probably is so loved by casual bystanders because he's that guy that everybody is just like, oh, this guy wants to have a good time. He likes everybody, you know? Like, some of us just don't have that in us to like, it's a really admirable quality, but it could probably be frustrating to somebody like Kyle in situations like this when she's not doing well with him. She doesn't want to see him palling around with everybody. Anyway, Sutton is dropped off next, wearing pale pink and gold. I forgot my bleach trays. No, PK is greeting people, and Anna Marie introduces her husband, Marcellus. Kyle and Mauricio are going down the red carpet for their pictures, and you can tell she's like forcing a smile. And Kyle in a talking head says, I feel like every time I go to one of these events, there's a lot of whispering and watching Mauricio and me, which feels really strange. And after several photos, Mauricio is like, hey, here, you do some alone, Kyle. Like they do separate photos. And Kyle continues in a talking head, they're analyzing every move or hand gesture. It's very weird. And listen, this has happened like, God, come on, Kyle. Like you've always been analyzed. It's only weird because you realize now something actually is wrong with you and you're actually kind of putting on a show. So it's anxiety on top of anxiety. It's already probably anxiety to get your picture taken at these events, trying to look good. But now it's even more anxiety because you're always looked at it. And now you realize you are actually portraying a false narrative. And that's got to be even more intense. Now, Sutton finds her girls, Garcelle, Crystal, and Erica, inside at a cocktail table. And Garcelle's, well, hello, sunshine. How are you? And Erica's like, how are you? And Sutton hugs Erica, how you feel? And Crystal's like, hi, baby, how's your esophagus? And Sutton's like, well, I have a magical esophagus. And Garcelle laughs and goes, oh, no, not that too. And Erica's like, an MP and an ME. And they flash back to 3 weeks earlier when Erica, Garcelle, and Sutton met for their girls' night out, where Erica's like, wow, she says she has an MP. And Garcelle goes, oh, yeah, the MP. And Erica's like, I said, what's with that magical pussy? Yeah, is it the grip? The wetness? Like, what are we talking about? And Sutton's like, yeah, well, it's sweetness. I'm going to tell you, I must have missed that scene even a couple weeks ago when they did it, but like I get a little stomachy when I hear Erica talking about magical P words. And is it the grip? Is it the wetness? Like, what are we, like, Erica, what the fuck, dude? Like, let's get those bleach trays out of your mouth so I can wash it out with soap. Like, what the grip? And then, and I will say this. Andy was on Watch What Happens Live. Erica Jane was on, and Erica Jane, she looked good, whatever, but like Andy was like, hey, stand up, do a twirl. And he's like, hey, straight men out there, don't say I didn't ever do anything for you. And I was like, I got to tell you, man, like it does nothing for me. Like, does it, I mean, hey, I know I have a huge straight man audience. Does it do anything? Like, does it, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, nothing, like zero, flatline, not even an 8.5. You know what? It's just flat. I don't know. Anyways, Sutton and the talking head's like, well, my magical esophagus is like my MP, and that is smooth and silky, and it's got teeth. And then she pauses, like she goes, and it's also very tight. Gross. I love that Sutton is like, yeah, I'll do a talking head where I compare my esophagus with my pussy. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Come on. Thank you, MP. Sutton's like, well, seriously, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me about my esophagus. I say, we don't talk about my body behind my back. It's not going to go well. And Erica's like, yeah. And then Anne-Marie's walking this way at the time. There she is. And they're all like, hey. So it's like, oh, good. Come on in. And Garcelle mutters, oh, God. And Crystal laughs. And Erica kind of doesn't move her lips. And she's like, oh, God. Like, oh, God. And Sutton mutters, well, what? Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of her. Are you kidding me? We all got MPs at this table. Anna Marie to Marcellus goes, let's go meet the girls first. Then I'll probably send you over for a drink. And she bounds up to the ladies. And Erica's like, nice to see you. And Anna Marie's like, Erica, it's been like way too long. Garcelle gives Marcellus a hug. And Marcellus' Sutton's like, I'm a hugger first. God, that is like 4 words you never want to hear. I'm a hugger first. I'm like, well, I'm a runner. And Sutton's like, well, okay. And she awkwardly hugs Marcellus. And Marcellus like, so it's good seeing you. And Sutton's like, I'm Sutton Strack. And Marcellus like, yeah, I've heard. Nice to see you too. And Amory's like, yeah, sorry, you guys. Marcellus, everybody, Marcellus. I'm Erica Jane. Well, good to see you, Erica. And then Anna Marie to Sutton goes, hello, my dear. How are you? Well, I'm good. We need to talk. We do need to talk, Sutton. Oh, no, we're going to talk right now. And Anna Marie's like, okay, let's talk right now. And then to Marcellus, go to the bar. Give me a drink. And Marcellus like, just say leave. Don't say go to the bar. And Erica's like, just go to the bar, bitch. Marcellus walks off laughing. All right, I love it. And Sutton jumps right in. Well, you picked the wrong person, I say, you did. And Garcelle face is like, oh shit. And Anna Marie's like, seriously, Sutton, let me explain something to you first. And Sutton's like, excuse me, ma'am. And Anna Marie's like, Sutton, let me explain something to you first. And Sutton's like, well, no, ma'am. Excuse me, ma'am. No. Erica and the talking head's like, you gotta be careful with the no ma'ams. This particular no ma'am could, where I'm from, get you smacked. And Anna Marie's like, I don't yell. So if you want to make me yell, I will match your tone. Well, I'm not yelling. Well, you were. Now you're lying. You were yelling. Well, oh, is this my third lie that I've told? And Anna Marie's like, yes, your third lie. And Eric's like, what were the other two? Does it have something to do with your MP? Now, Anna Marie's like, the first one was that her doctor said she could drink and have gabapentin at the same time. And Sutton's like, well, which he did. Well, you can't. Well, are you my doctor? It doesn't matter, Sutton. I'm a board-certified nurse. And suddenly Kyle walks up and interrupts the flow. And Anna Marie repeats, I'm a board-certified nurse. Anesthetist. Anesthesiast. I'm an anesthesiast. Sutton. And Sutton's like, well, we're going to talk about something right now, you anesthesiast. Meanwhile, off in the distance, Marcella says something indistinct to Mauricio, and he's like, great, I mean, you want to go in there right now? And he's like, no. He's like, that's a ballsy move if you do. And Sutton's like, well, I have a board-certified doctor, a GI. And Anna Marie's like, great. And Sutton's like, well, that I've seen, so I know what I have. And this whole time, Anna Marie keeps throwing in, great. And Sutton's like, and you said that I made it up. And Chris is like, you said she lied. And we get a flashback to 4 days earlier at the Celebration of Life event where Anna Marie said, I said, she's sweet as apple pie, but I've known her for 14 seconds and I've heard 2 lies out of her mouth. And Garcelle rolls her eyes in this scene. And now Anna Marie back in this scene, Anna Marie pounding out the syllables. I said what she said does not make sense medically. And Chris was like, you said that as well, but you said she lied. And Anna Marie yells, okay, I said if you lied. I said if. And Garcelle's like, you said I've met her 5 minutes and she's lied twice. And Anna Marie's like, yes, about the gabapentin and potentially this. And Chris was like, so you said she lied. Just say it. And Anna Marie's like, potentially. You were the one saying she had an eating disorder. And Chris was like, are you out of your mind? And Garcelle's like, oh, no, girl. And Garcelle in a talking head's like, we haven't even gone into the ballroom, and these two are just going at it. We haven't even gotten any of the teeth for the toothless. And Son's like, well, you need to listen. You need to listen up right now. And Anna Marie's like, I want to say something first. Garcelle continues in a talking head, and people are looking at us. It's like we're at the zoo looking at the animals. We're the animals. And the camera pans to lots of people head turning towards the noise. And Son's like, well, at Kyle's celebration of life for her friend, inappropriate to bring that up, I say. And Chris was like, you literally spent 2 hours talking about her to where she, pointing at Garcelle, and I literally had to leave because it was so annoying. We get a flashback to that night to the timeline, what Crystal just said. 6:03 p.m., Anna Marie goes, she said, well, it's because of my small esophagus. 8:43 p.m., Anna Marie's, honey, she said that she has a small esophagus. 9:27 p.m., Anna Marie to two other women, she says she has a small esophagus. 10:51 p.m., Anna Marie going, have you ever heard of anybody just having a small esophagus? And Garcelle going, I'm going to get something else to drink. Do you want anything? 10:58 p.m., hey, two esophaguses walk into a bar, right? Am I right? High five. Anyways, Anna Marie in this scene goes, I am trained to be a critical thinker. So when I hear something that doesn't make sense, we try to put, and Crystal's like, oh my God. And Anna Marie's like, Crystal, didn't you want to go to med school? And Crystal's like, did you go to medical school? Didn't you tell me you were an anesthesiologist when I met you? And then let me tell you something. And Anna Marie's like, if you'd gone to med school, you'd get that. And Crystal's like, dude, you're such a bitch. Boom, mic drop, Crystal comes alive. Broken out of the eyes. Crystal saying the word bitch in a public situation. So this is what happens. I always think Crystal as our reliable narrator, right? But sometimes the reliable narrator gets pushed too far where it's too much. And she is the voice of the audience because Anna Marie is pushing it. It's like, listen, girl. You have been doing this shit for too long. You are hitting the same note and it's boring. Get off it. You are new here. You are a visitor. You are on a 90-day trial with the Housewives right now. What are you doing? So I love that Crystal called out what we were all thinking. Now, Anna Marie in a talking head goes, Crystal told us she wanted to go to medical school. And we get a 1 week earlier flashback on the Sprinter van to Ojai where Crystal goes, I wanted to go to medical school when Rob and I first met. And Rob, he was like, I need to get married and like, I want a family. And so then I decided not to go to medical school. I don't know what even Anna Marie, like, yeah, it doesn't mean that you're not like, Anna Marie, what? Anna Marie continues in a talking head. Her husband wouldn't have waited for her. So I think that Crystal resents me because I'm in the medical profession. She's taking out what she didn't get to do on me. That is such a stretch. Are you like, my God, what a way to make a boring situation worse. Sutton's like, well, you owe me a big apology. And Anna Marie's like, I apologize, Sutton, for being concerned and inquisitive about something that anybody in my fake profession would have been concerned about. I do apologize for that. Whether or not you accept it is not it or not is on you. So those are always the best apologies when you can tell they're just angry doing it. It's not an apology at all. And Sutton in a talking head's like, well, thank you. I appreciate your non-apology apology. Yeah, I'm going to take it, though, because I don't want to talk about my esophagus anymore. And Anna Marie's like, I'm ready for my drink and my husband. And she spins off. Okay, bye. Okay, nobody needs you here. And Sutton finishes in a talking head, well, we're going to move on. Let's go eat and hear about the homeless and, the not toothless people. Yeah. They all laugh and because it's super funny, homeless people being toothless, I guess. And the women disperse. Kyle finds Dorit, and they tell each other how gorgeous each other looks. Kyle's like, there was the biggest fight happening over there. Where? Anna Marie was so heated and worked up. Very eloquent. Very loud yelling? Very. Wow. And Garcelle walks up, and Kyle's like, I was telling Dorit what was going on. I'm getting a little caught up. It was extremely heated, very heated. Sutton pulled a gun. No, Garcelle was very heated, and Crystal's heated all the way around. I actually never saw Crystal like that. I didn't know she had that in her. Me either. I did not know she had it in her. Kyle in a talking head goes, we all wanted Crystal to find her voice, but screaming, you're such a bitch, and a black tie of it. Oh, Kyle. Let her have Kyle. They have a flashback to 10 minutes earlier where Crystal goes, dude, you're such a bitch. What is wrong with you? Did we need a flashback to what we just saw? Now we're going to have a flashback to this flashback of the last flashback. Kyle continues in a talking head. Wasn't exactly what we were talking about. And Dorit in a talking head like, come on, ladies. This is about the homeless and the toothless people. Garcelle is like, well, let's peruse this silent auction. And Kyle's like, look at this. Taylor Swift signed guitar. And Mauricio's like, that's cool. We don't need that, though. The opening bid was $850, which that's probably pretty good for a Taylor Swift. Anyway, I bet Kyle's like, fuck it, I'm going to buy it for Morgan. Kyle goes, oh, here's another one. Look, oh, Garcelle didn't bid on that one, because I guess Garcelle's bidding on all of them. And then we see Crystal to Sutton going, let's outbid ourselves. And Sutton's like, well, you can't do that. And then Sutton's like, what is this? What is this little object? Good and sundry. And the attendant's like, that's a spinel, which I guess is a gemstone. Thank you, Juliana. And Kyle's like, oh, look at this. Looks like the one my husband got me when he cheated on me. Making a callback to the joke of the THC dinner. And Sutton's like, oh, it does not. Oh, you stop it. You're being a bad girl, Kyle. The attendant is just staring at Kyle, shocked. Like, what the, just, are you gonna, this is like a charity. What are you fucking doing? Kyle's like, I'm kidding. Like, do you want people staring at you or don't you? Like, you're saying too many people are staring and then you're making jokes like this. Like, which is it? Pick a lane. Dorita is hustling down in the pit where she is assigned seating. And Nick, the assistant, is helping her rearrange. And Dorita's like, I need to separate Sutton from Anna Marie. Woo-hoo. And Nick's like, well, she's over here. Do Sutton, Mo, Kyle, okay, Lou. And then Erica walks up to stand out. And this older woman, this fabulous older, shorter woman is dressed in bright pink with bright pink hair. Looks like she's in her 80s, who's attending the gala. And Erica's like,
I think we need to take a picture together. Yeah.
And the pink lady's like, I said to my husband, now there's a lady with a fabulous color on. Meaning Erica. And Erica's like,
I love your hair.
And then Garcelle walks up. Is this only the pinks? Am I allowed? I'm the redhead here. Erica, now assisting the pink lady,
get in the middle of the picture.
Garcelle's like, yes, in the middle. And her husband, the pink lady's husband, snaps the picture. And Garcelle's like, have fun tonight. And Erica's like,
so nice to meet you. Yeah.
The lady was actually really adorable. The announcer invites everyone to get seated in the main bar. Hey, everybody, take your seats. We're about to begin the hopeless, not toothless gala. Crystal sees someone and runs up smiling. Everyone said Rob's there. Like, hey, yay. Everybody's happy to see him. Garcelle goes, oh my God, Paula. Because special guest Paula Abdul and Garcelle hug. And Garcelle goes, I was just talking about you, about being a cold-hearted snake. Look into my eyes. Uh-oh, he's been telling lies. He's a lover boy at play. He's been... Sorry. By the way, do kids even know that Paula Abdul had like a hit album in the 90s? Is that just... It's just lost on the kids these days, huh? Anyways, Garcelle's like, you look great, Paula. And Paula's like, you look great too. Sutton finds her seat, and Anna Marie is seated opposite her at the side table. Mauricio sits next to Sutton and says very loud, hi, Sutton. I hear you have an esophagus problem, love bean. And Sutton in her talking head goes, well, really? All right, Mauricio. You can come home. You can come to the homeless, not toothless event. I say, well, you can't come to the celebration of life event for your wife? That's messed up. And Mauricio's like, well, I'm not coming in hot, Sutton. I just hear, by the way, about your esophagus. He's just being funny, charming, a little probably tipsy. And just making jokes where he probably shouldn't have. And the MC's like, please welcome to the stage, fashion designer. And I was like, fashion designer? Who's going to come? And it's like, Dorit Kemsley. I was like, what? Fashion designer? Wait, what? Like, I was like, at this point, wouldn't you say, please welcome to the stage, Real Housewife Dorit? Like, that's something to be proud of, too. Anyways, Dorit makes her way onto the stage like, hello, welcome to the 2023 Hollywood Gala. The homeless are toothless. It's the first chance we've had to come together as a community. I'm a child of the world since the pandemic to support this incredible organization. We've got some exciting guests lined for you, and to kick things off, please give a warm welcome to Paula Abdul. And then Paula Abdul comes out like, I want to thank all of you who made tonight's celebration possible. Please give it up for multi-nominated artist Taylor Dane. And Dorit and Erica especially, Erica's like,
oh my God, I need bleach trays.
Dorit's like, oh. Everybody's just like, oh my God. And so Taylor Dane, who, had massive hits in the, I think, late 80s, amazing singer, looks still amazing. Taylor Dane's like, take me out yours into your arms, never let me go. Tonight I really need to know. Now that's great. It's all gravy. It's like, oh, cool, Taylor Dane. But then they keep cutting back to Erica, who is It reminded me of the holiday episode last year with Diana Jenkins and Asher, where Asher was like, what was it like? Oh, holy night. And everyone's like,
Oh, holy.
so this is like, she's lip singing, but it's like, so Erica's like, Erica lights up. She's like,
a fellow performer, yeah.
So, and then a bit, in the sign, like, tell it to my heart. Tell me I'm the only one. Is this really love or just a game? Tell it to my heart. And then my body. But the whole time, Erica's like,
yeah, yeah, tell him, mama, yeah.
Garcelle's up dancing, Kyle and Mauricio, and we see the attendees singing, and it's just weird attendees. Like there's the housewives, and then there's like a shorter Asian man that they cut to, and then like a tall old bald guy. Like it was like a weird cutaway to like just single people in the audience. It was even the pink lady pops up and like take it to the high, and Eric and I talking. It's like,
oh my God, Taylor Dane. One of the strongest voices alive. No demand. Her voice can crush steel. Her voice can crush Kanye West's titanium teeth.
Really, Morgan Wade last week, Taylor Dane this week. It is a cornucopia of people that, it's wild. So Crystal and I talking to it's like, I love Taylor Dane. I mean, Love Will Lead You Back. That's another one of her hits. Like, really great song. That's a jam. And then Anne Marie and I talking to goes, I don't know Taylor Dane. I don't know Taylor Dane. If you just thought Anne Marie couldn't look any stupider, well, she just did it again. Oops, I did it again. She is such a like, the people that take pride in ignorance, like, well, fucking look it up on Google. You know what I'm saying? We have all these like phones attached like to our phalanges at all times. Like, oh, ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Dane. You know what? If I don't know Taylor Dane, I go to my Google, I type in Taylor Dane. Oh, there it is. Why? Like, I don't know Taylor Dane. Like, what? How would you take pride in that? Like, what a geek. Anyway, Sutton's like, well, let's sit down, y'all. Let's do it. Well, that was such a good performance by Taylor Dane. Also, a much more appropriate song than Morgan Wade's Wanna Fuck You on the Floor from last week's celebration of life. A little more appropriate. Okay. Anyways, while I got you all ladies here, well, we're going to Spain. We're going to go to Spain, Barcelona, and friendship. I say, it's meaningful. We have got to stop this. How many times have you had a nickel for every time you heard Housewives saying, we've got to stop this. We've got to become friends again. And Garcelle's like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? And Sutton to Anna Marie's like, look, Anna Marie, I like you. We had a good time. And Anna Marie won't move an eyelash. She's like, and says like, well, I just don't like that you were behind my back telling everybody stuff. And Anna Marie's like, I am not Satan. I've already explained that, and I'm not going to let you continue that narrative. This is like, it's good in like social dynamics where Anne-Marie still is under the impression that she is stronger than Sutton. But in this next scene, she somehow woke up to the fact that that is not the case, and she still thinks she's more powerful than Crystal. Like, social dynamics are fun that way, and especially when new people try to suss it out. Most people are usually pretty like even keeled, and they're like, okay, I got to take it slow with a new group of people, but Anna-Marie is not, and it's really failing miserably and spectacularly, and it's not as good as like people like Erica said, like, I think Anna Marie's a great addition to the cast. She said that on the red carpet last week at some event. And I'm like, it's like the people in these shows have no actual sometimes clue of how these shows actually work or how they go. That's wild to me. Anyways, Sutton's face is like, huh? What did you say? And Kyle and I talking head goes, honestly, at this point, I'd rather be toothless than deal with this. Huh? I just wish sometimes they would just let a big pause happen in Kyle's talking heads where nobody laughs. Just in putting the crickets like, cricket, cricket, cricket. And Reed's like, do you think tonight we can all go home? Take a deep breath, relax. And Sutton's like, well, we got to figure out what we're packing for Spain. And Kyle's like, we need to bring only positive energy to Spain. Are we all on the same flight? Huh? Huh, even? Huh? The next day we make the usual round robin. So that event is over, you know. I bet PK got lucky that night, right? He's like, oh, PK, you helped me with the flowers and the tablecloths. And now I'd like to do the Humpty dance with you. Hoo-hoo. I'd like to do the humpity hump. Let's freak. Let's do the freak. Let's put on Taylor Dane. Beep, bobby, woo. So, okay, we're doing the check-ins. We start at Erica's pool house, the dingy pool house. We see the shot from the background. It always looks like the beginning of a horror film when they zoom in on Erica's pool house. I'm like, oh shit, somebody's gonna die. She's with her assistant Leia, trying on a pair of deep pink sunglasses that match her bathrobe. So it's very effervescent. Like the pink's a good color on Erica. Eric's like,
What do you think of this? It could be a look. Do you think I could wear it on the plane?
and then we go to Dorit's house, and Dorit's like, can you bring the shoes over for mommy? And Phoenix is trying on Dorit's yellow pumps, and she's like, they hurt, that's for sure. And she's wobbling in them, and she's like, baby, should I hold you? And Phoenix is like, Mom, you don't need to hold me. I still got it. And Dorit's like, you still got it, girl. Where the fuck are you hiding Jagger? Little Jaggaloo, put on mommy's pumps, Jaggaloo, please. Phoenix is really getting the hang of it, but I need Jaggaloo to show Phoenix how to truly do it. We're at Kyle's house now. She's lugging 2 giant-sized suitcases upstairs to her room. Kyle's in her room going, oh, yeah, I just bought new shoes. Man, this Kyle, that's the true fucking storyline is like Kyle's shopping addiction. Fuck all these other storylines, like the amount of shit Kyle buys every day. She opens the box to some chunky black patent leather loafers with lug heels and gold buckles. And Kyle's like, oh, those are not mine. They're Morgan's shoes. Great. Uh-oh. A reason for me to call Morgan. You left your shoes over here. They're Morgan. Oh, my God. This is wild. Anyways, Kyle, I thought she was calling Morgan, but Kyle's calling Sutton on FaceTime. Hello, how are you? And says like, I'm good. I'm at the most expensive grocery in the world. And Kyle's like, Erewhon or Bristol Farms? And those would be the two that I would think, actually. But then Sutton's at a place called I'm at Jade's. I guess Jade's is so expensive that I've even never heard of it. That's how expensive that store must be. And Kyle's like, oh, yeah, that one. Okay, so what is the vibe? I have like this florally long, pretty dress. It's like Spanish kind of vibe, maybe. And Son's like, well, take it. It's like an old city out of cobblestone streets in Europe. And Kyle's like, it's not going to stop any of the other girls from wearing their high heels. And Son's like, well, they'll break their ankles. I'll say, well, they don't care. Barcelona is not ready for us. Well, no, we got some angst we need to work out. I say, because, well, I have not spoken to Anna Marie, but I meant to call her and check on her. But, well, you're gonna, I mean, this is your mission. And Kyle's like, okay. And Son's like, you need to tell her to not talk at us. I say. And Kyle's like, okay, well, I'm going to call her now. Make sure she's still coming to the trip. And then Kyle's like, in a talking head, the fact that I'm at this point in my life having to mediate a fight about esophaguses is very upsetting to me. Kyle, you put the damn bug in her ear. That's your fault. Hook, line, and sinker. What are you talking about? So Kyle continues in a talking head, but I do feel a sense of responsibility to play peacemaker because I brought Anne Marie in this group and now I feel like I need to fix things, especially since we're going to Spain. Kyle calls Anne Marie. How are you? Well, I've had time to cool off, like I've told you, Kyle. That was so much for me, and I have time to think about it and reflect on it, and I feel ridiculous. I feel horrible. And Kyle's like, listen, for me to say that was a lot, that's saying a lot. Now, over at Erica's, she's FaceTiming Crystal, and Erica's like,
Crystal, pick up your phone.
And Crystal's like, hi.
Interesting night.
Crystal's like, yeah.
You called her a bitch.
And Crystal's like it's rude to call someone a bitch, but she was. She was a bitch. Calling out Sutton for yelling at her, she's the one yelling. None of it made sense to me, and it was like driving me crazy. And Erica's like,
you know, people communicate under stress in different ways. It got loud. And thank God it wasn't about me. That's all.
Now we're over at Garcelle's. She's on FaceTime now with Sutton. God, FaceTime should be like another cast member on this show. It's a lot of FaceTime. Garcelle goes, I have heard enough about your esophagus. And Sutton's like, well, why is she so what makes my esophagus so special? And Garcelle's like, well, I think she wants to be right because it's a medical thing. But I don't know why it needs to be right because it's your medical thing. And Sutton's like, it's so dumb. Well, it's a lot. Have you heard from her? No. And then back to Anne-Marie on FaceTime with Kyle. And Kyle's like, maybe Spain will have a little, magic touch, and fix things. Kyle in a talking head says, if these ladies can get past their issues, we could have a lot of fun and be a great bonding experience. But I'm not holding my breath. And then Kyle's like, have you talked to Crystal? And Anna Marie's like, no, are you kidding me? I have absolutely no intention of talking to Crystal. And Kyle's like, how are we going to go to Spain? And Anna Marie's like, Crystal owes me an apology. She mocked my profession. It's really unfortunate. Anna Marie in a talking head, I am a very proud nurse anesthesiast. It is an extremely difficult and challenging profession. Why would I lie about that? And Anna Marie in the scene goes, I just have no intention of talking to her. And Kyle's like, the whole time in Spain? I mean, maybe, Kyle. And then Erica on her call,
I'm gonna be the referee. I'm gonna bring the whistle. Toot toot. Time out. You in that corner. You in this corner.
Erica truly loving not having any bullseye on her this season. She's just like, yeah, I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna fight without abandon. Yeah. Crystal goes, well, who the hell knows? If she doesn't talk to me, then it might even be better. And Erica in a talking head goes,
look at me, the peacemaker. Who'd have thought? You know, anything can happen in this life. Therapy works. It's expensive, but it works. It's not my money. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the victims. Yeah.
Kyle on her call goes, I think we need to make a pact not to discuss or have any of these conversations on the plane. Because can you imagine if we get kicked off the plane? I mean, you see that stuff all the time in the news. People are trying to land the damn plane. I'm not doing that. I would love that. By the way, wouldn't it be a great Housewives episode that they all have to like be forced to take Spirit Airlines? You know, like, well, hell, this seat's all right. The metal seats on my buttocks is so hurtful. Oh my goodness. Or they're on Alaska Airlines and the door blows out like it did a couple of weeks ago. Anna Marie's like, ah! Anyways, Anna Marie's like, I think I just need to talk to Sutton. Tell her I'm really sorry because I want to go into this trip like you know me. Like I want to go in like happy and positive and looking forward to it, you know? Yeah, make peace with Sutton and we move forward. Yeah, and I'm hoping she's respectful. And Kyle's like, okay, good luck. And Anna Marie's like, bye, mama. She is a mama. Remember Heather Holla Thompson? Bye, mama. Like Anna Marie's a big calling people mama at the end of phone calls person. Kyle hangs up and you tell Kyle's like, uh-oh. Anna Marie makes a FaceTime call to Sutton now. This is the big mea culpa scene. And Anna Marie to herself says like, oh my God, pray for me. Pray for me. And Sutton picks up and Anna Marie's like, Sutton. And Sutton's like, well, excuse me, ma'am. I'm eating. Yeah, I'm actually eating. And Sutton, it really kind of just seems very low energy in this FaceTime. Like, well, excuse me, I'm eating. You're going to eat. And Anna Marie's like, Sutton, I'm coming to you with my heart in my hands. And Sutton's like, okay. And Anna Marie's like, I just wanted to tell you that I'm sorry. And Sutton's like, for what? Well, for my part in everything that happened. And Sutton's like, you're sorry for your part. And Sutton in the talking head goes, your part? How about your part is the only part? No, ma'am. Girl. And then Anna Marie's like, I am sorry that I pried into something that you clearly didn't want to talk about, you know? And Sutton's like, well, no, I'll talk about my esophagus issue all day long if I need to. And Anna Marie's like, well, I'm sorry I upset you about talking about your esophagus. And Sutton's like, well, behind my back you did. And Anna Marie's like, behind your back. And I'm not proud of the things that I said. And Sutton's like, well, you're not off the hook. I want you to come. You know, I'm looking forward to working all this out with you. I really am, because I like you. And you did, you know, you licked my armpit. You were a good old armpit licker. You know, you licked that armpit. That's what you were a good armpit licker. You know, you didn't get anywhere near my MP. I just want you to start talking about my ME. And Anna Marie's like, I licked your armpit. Sutton, how many friends can you say that about? Armpit buddies. And Sutton's like, ooh. Anna Marie in a talking head goes, I am embarrassed by my behavior. You know, I'm just going to move forward. I'm going to keep it copacetic. I'm going to keep the peace. And it's so funny because Anna Marie must have gotten like some angry call from a pretty, like the fact that she reversed so hard is so sad and so funny at the same time. So Anna Marie's like, I'm excited to come, Sutton. And Sutton's like, well, yeah, it's going to be such a beautiful trip in Barcelona. I promise. Well, thank you for calling me. And then Anna Marie goes, absolutely. Bye, mama. Bye, mama. And then we get the dreaded 24 hours later Chiron on the screen. And it says, Barcelona, Spain. And Kyle's in a Sprinter van going, you guys are excited to be in Spain? Welcome to Villa Catalina. And Kyle to their guide on these cobblestones going, Donde está Hermes? And then the host to the house goes, I just want to warn you. And Erica goes,
it's haunted, isn't it?
And the host is like, I've never seen anything like it.
You're not going to tell us. I knew it. It's haunted, just like my old mansion in Pasadena.
And Dorit's like, oh. And then Anna Marie in another scene goes, the first thing Crystal said to me about this group of women was like, you ladies were not intelligent and you're very shallow. And Garcelle goes, damn, girl. And Dorit's like, shallow? By the way, yeah, I mean, I don't know if Crystal said this stuff, but okay, yeah, that sounds close. And Garcelle goes, so did you say that, Crystal? And Crystal goes, it's offensive that you asked me that. And Dorit's like, what? And Garcelle's like, well, she's accusing you, so I'm asking you, Crystal. And then Anna Marie's like, Crystal, bring it down a notch. And Crystal's like, do not tell me to bring it down. And Anna Marie's like, you know what else I want from you? I want to thank you for giving you something to talk about, for making you relevant. And it's all shit's going to hit the wall. Anna Marie, count your days. It's not going well for you, girl. It's not going well. But hey, fun episode, right? Homeless, not toothless. Great event. Taylor Dane. Hell yeah. Loose, loose, loose. I hope you guys have the best weekend ever. I did 5 episodes this week, so feel free to catch up on any of those. I'm going to be doing a Patreon with Maritza Lopez that'll be out this weekend. And I just really hope you have the best weekend ever. Eat something good, drink something great, tell people that you love them. Try to spend quality time with people, and that includes yourself. Read something. Unplug if you need to, go out on a walk, or don't do any exercise at the wall at all. Just stare at the wall. Watch The Traitors if you want to. Watch TV, watch a movie, read a book, all of those good things. Hang with your family most of all, and I'll see you back bright and early on Monday for the Pop Culture Roundup with Sophie Ross. Have the best weekend ever. And if you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe. And also, we did this great YouTube video where I commented on all the Emmys fashion, so go check that out as well, okay? Bye, guys. Thanks for your support.